How can we use this concept for huge PA projects when the flow can have multiple errors from different branches? How can we prevent the error handler to trigger multiple times and instead to send the request once with all the errors listed in the table?
For sure. Well, if you're using like a parent flow and you're using like child flows, don't put any error handling in any of the child flows, because if any of those crash, they'll roll up to the parent flow. I know Agnes, who we talked about earlier, I think has done workshops specifically on that. So you just keep that flow in the parent flow. If you have multiple scattered different flows around that don't really connect to each other, like you don't really have an option there. You're going to need to link it on all those flows. But then like consider again, can you make any of them like child relationships? Can you put them all as do the parent-child concept, as opposed to they're all just triggering off of Dataverse or triggering off of SharePoint is one approach to that one.
Cool.
That works.
Select works when and should not be used when.
It should be used all the time, every day, for everything. Actually, I'm happy he brought it up. If I can share my screen quickly and show when it's done very, very poorly, and it's not anyone's fault, but it's just like it's just a miss on some of it. So you will see here that. And then, by the way, team, if you don't want me to screen share this, we can move on to the next question.
No, we can actually.
Cool.
As soon as it starts to share, right? That's the point.
Yeah, if you have an array and you're not using a select action, what are you doing?
Living your best life and getting things done slow. All right, so I see this problem happen all the time. If we look here, we see we have a lot of data in this array before we modify it. So here I have all of this stuff. And then what we do is... really?
Yeah, not sharing. Yeah.
What's the next question? We'll come back.
Next. We got 1 more minute.
There are always two things in our call, right? So either microphone is off or you're not sharing. So both of one. We had skipped the question. Hey, bring it back, Mirko. This is why Mirko is always in the back. You stay there. It's our meeting doggy, so it's okay. While the other question is loading, let's move on to another question from Rivas. Cloud patterns apply here. I think it was related to a question to something beforehand that we missed perhaps, or you talked about.
Do cloud patterns apply? Does anyone remember the context?
No, not really.
No, not really.
Oh, this goes back to Isabel, what you were saying, but does the flow then succeed? Well, you mentioned just drop a failure action and you're fine, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think there's one question about Parse JSON, about the schema not working.
Yeah.
Yes. Good one.
You want to answer that?
So I avoid Parse JSON. I don't like it just because if the schema does change, I don't like dealing with it. And I've seen people do really advanced stuff like add options or whatever. I don't know. I've been lucky enough with my flows that like just using that question mark notation and making it optional makes it so I never ever have to worry about the schema changing or remembering that I built enough optional parameters in my schema to avoid it. So that's where I stand, which is maybe a bit archaic. I'm curious if people are using Parse JSON. I mostly see Parse JSON fail more than not. So,
well, it honestly depends. Sorry, go ahead, Marcel. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm running only in 2 errors with Parse JSON. One is something with null, and when I edit it, and with the required fields. And if I see that a lot of fields are not filled, I change the required fields in Parse JSON. And when Parse JSON works for me in nearly 100% of every cases what I have.
My argument is, why are we using the Parse JSON for? My argument is that if you're doing get item and then using a Parse JSON, what the heck are you doing? Like the reason you use Parse JSON is to be lazy, so you can just open the pop and select which one it is. I use Parse JSON as a mapping. You write your own JSON. I always do send errors to this environment variable. So then my other actions are referring to that one Parse JSON action. So it's just to reference and for me to be lazy, just select it from the pop-up.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What the heck are you doing? Exactly. This is my t-shirt sentence of the day. It's wonderful.
If it doesn't add value, why are you adding more stuff,
Right.
What the heck are you doing? And it depends are two most important things, especially in the consultancy area. So it's okay. Shaw, what's your go-to troubleshooting method when dealing with unexplained flow timeouts or unexpected delays?
Yeah, so there's a few. When it comes to certain flow timeouts, obviously, as Isabel said earlier, you just got to go to the flow itself, pinpoint the action, try to find out what's going on. I've noticed that the weirdest ones is when I'm connected to some custom API that some other team is managing, and sometimes it times out, sometimes it does not. Usually in those cases, I would set up a separate flow where I'm just gonna go blast it with a lot of requests and try to like give them some kind of like Excel spreadsheet of like, here's what it's doing, here's the timeouts I'm getting, here it is when I send over like 10 records, 50, 100. Is there like a pattern I'm seeing? Maybe it's the amount of records I'm sending it, or maybe it's the particular endpoint that I'm sending it to. Like, does this endpoint work? Does this endpoint not work? When it comes to timeouts and delays, I'm experiencing them the most on custom APIs. So I just try to give the most thorough like document of what I'm seeing and try to run it through a bunch of operations. When I send them something that says, hey, this API is timing out, they're just like, okay, what? And they try it and it works. And I'm like, no. Like, here's actual data of what it is and isn't. That's helped me the most. Otherwise, timeouts and unexpected delays, I rarely get them incredibly inconsistency on like any Microsoft products or like tools. Like, sure, SharePoint is slow, but like predictably slow. Or if my Dataverse fetch XML is really complicated, it's going to be predictably very slow. It's rare for me that one of those is really misbehaving, is my experience. And if it is really misbehaving, it's like a one-off.